गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरिः ओम। We welcome you all today for this program titled Heart to Heart Inspiring Messages. This program is totally dedicated to Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji. In this program, we are interviewing some very close devotees of Pujya Gurudev from Delhi and NCR. Also, we will know how teachings of Pujya Gurudev helped them to transform their lives completely. Let me introduce myself. I am Swami Prakarshananda, presently serving at Chinmaya Center of World Understanding, New Delhi. Today, we have with us Swamini Gurupriyananda ji. We all call her lovingly Amma. At present, she is a trustee of Delhi Chinmaya Seva Trust and in charge of Chinmaya Ranjan Ashram, Chittaranjan Park, New Delhi. In her professional life, she was a distinguished interior decorator and furniture designer in Delhi. What to talk about her spiritual aspect? She is completely, totally surrendered at Pujya Gurudev's lotus feet. What I feel and what I have experienced, every breath of her, there's only one name, and that is Gurudev, Gurudev and Gurudev. Before we discuss, we will have few remaining names of Pujya Gurudev from his Namavali. You all can join with us. Om Shrutiparagaya Namaha. Om Shrutriyaya Namaha. Om Sannyasine Namaha. Om Samabuddhaye Namaha. Om Satchidanandaya Namaha. Om Sarvahitachintakaya Namaha. Om Satyasankalpaya Namaha. Om Santushtaya Namaha. Om Sadhave Namaha. Om Sumanase Namaha. Om Surudhe Namaha. Om Swayam Jyotishe Namaha. Om Stitaprajnaya Namaha. Om Kshamashilaya Namaha. Om Jnanamurtaye Namaha. Om Jnana Yogine Namaha. Om Jnana Truptaya Namaha. Om Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaya Namaha. Om Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaya Namaha. Om Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaya Namaha. Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. Amma pranams to you. Today is a very special day for whole of our Chinmay family, as it is today a Aradhana day, the 3rd August, and we observe it as a complete sadhana day. It's a Mahasamadhi day of our Pujya Gurudev. So I am fortunate to get your blessing on such a special day. Pranam to you. Amma, what was that magic, rather the magical effect, when you first met Pujya Gurudev or when you first heard him somewhere in a Gita Jnana Yagya?
I saw a royal saint sitting on the dais with a divine aura. I was spellbound. Then Gurudev started talking on Bhagavad Gita. Just a few words he said, a divine voice came from within. He is Krishna, he is my Guru. It was amazing because I didn't believe in gurus, but here Guru came himself to me. And then I bought his Holy Gita and I took it to a great urge to get it signed from him. And so Gurudev started writing on it. Tears flowed down with gratitude and joy. So Gurudev smiled and said, I didn't know it's so easy to make people happy. Come to Siddhbari. And what he wrote on my book was, I quote that, he said, he wrote, 3 to 4 verses every day is a good dose for you. Read, reflect, then repeatedly revise the whole Gita 10 times and see the difference. Love, Chinmaya.
Amma, I can just now understand it was a heart-to-heart connection in the first meeting.
Yes.
And I think that was a magic for you.
It was, Swamiji. It was true.
Amma, it is said in our scriptures, when Guru comes in our life, our spiritual path starts unfolding. Can you please share some experiences?
Gurudev had said, come to Siddhbari. At that time, I was doing a very important project in Bangalore. So I was very sad I could not go. I flew to Bangalore, but the site was not ready. So I flew back to Siddhbari. And I reached there to meet Gurudev. So he said, so you have come. So how Gurudev brought me there. And there was a devotee who said, you come with me to his kutia. You're here only for 2 days, so you'll be able to see more of him there. So Gurudev she was serving lunch to Gurudev. So I looked very keenly what Gurudev was eating. If he came to my home, what should I give him? Gurudev looked up and smiled and said, I eat everything.
Amma, I can understand here. So he just read your mind.
Yes, yes. Then, when Gurudev came next to Delhi, I invited him for lunch at our home. So, that glorious morning, and he said, yes, I will come at 11 a.m. So, came sharp at 11 a.m. So, we received him with Puran Kum and Aarti. Gurudev said, you put tilak on my forehead, and he told Sayam, my husband, to put the garland. I told the devotees that I would like to do Paduka Puja the way they do. They said, yes, we will bring, and Gurudev will guide you, himself will tell you. So while doing the Paduka Puja, I was in a trance, and all I had was darshan of Mahavishnu in Gurudev.
Amma, I just shift now to your professional life, because it was also distinguished and very bright. So I would like to ask you, how Puja Gurudev harness your specific talent and enabling you to do his service?
Yes, Gurudev blessed me with this beautiful work of Adi Shankara's birth room, and I had traveled with him, and he said, I'm very happy you came with me.
Yeah, so that's where we have our ashram now. Yes. Yeah, it is in Kerala, Ernakulam.
So he wrote, Adi Shankara's birth room is a very inspiring place of enormous spiritual presence, where he was born. Later again, Gurudev wrote from Piercy, you will do the interiors of Gurudev, of Adi Shankara's place where he was born. And then he also sent a drawing of how to place the things in the authentic way, the way the Kerala room for a mother's room is done, where to place the utensils, all details he gave. So it was beautiful, and I wrote to him, this is the best project I've had in my life. Yes, and we did that room over there. Then also, Gurudev would ask me to organize, on celebrations like Shivaratri or Ramnavami, to go and do up the places. And sometimes he would walk in to see how it was going. So once he came, I had all the chicks climbing up, putting up the flowers and all that. So he joyfully said, I know, you sit pretty and you make everybody else work. Yes.
What a beautiful comment.
Yes. And, yes. And later he would send somebody that see that she's had her lunch, because she forgets when she's working. So caring. Gurudev was so caring. Again, he would ask me to organize and do the tulabhars. So both in Siddhbari we used to have for the devotees, and it was a great joy. And sometimes somebody said, it's now, maybe Swamiji is now too late, but you must be tired, so we'll have it next time. So he said, no, we'll have it now, call Sita. So Gurudev called me, can we have it? I said, of course, Gurudev, we can have it. So I got all the flowers from Dharamsala, and we did all that. Then again, I traveled with Gurudev for the Swarna Tulabhar to Bombay. Asha Kamdar told me to do up the backdrop for Gurudev. So that was, I did a rising sun with the flowers, and Gurudev loved it, As we passed through, he again looked at the back and said, it's beautiful. So all these kind of things.
So good, Amma. Fantastic, I can imagine how you enjoyed your every work as a service to him.
Yes, it was. And these were not decorations. This was like I'm doing puja, and it was like I'm doing an altar of the Mahavishnu Gurudev, who was now my Lord.
So true, so true. Hariom Amma, you know how Pujya Gurudev empowered you to do that things which you never did in your life before.
Okay, this was Bhakti Sandhya programs. It was classical and devotional music to do fundraising for our center in Delhi. But these concerts were very special concerts. They were not just fundraising, they were like true imbibing bhakti in the audience. You know, Gurudev would send messages before the concert to be read to the audience, and I will quote one of the messages over here. The audience must therefore, in an attitude of great devotion and reverence, approach and remain in the hall in a most prayerful mood, as though they are standing right in front of the sanctum sanctorium in an ancient and famous temple. This is a small passage, but it would be long passages also, and that would lift up the whole audience into the bhakti.
Yes, I can, imagine, Amma, that to be a sort of very divine atmosphere with a complete attitude of worship.
Yes. So we invited the top artists like Bhimsen Joshi, very sought after. But whoever we asked, they came with such joy, and they said it was a blessing they can sing for. Then this Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbalakshmi came. She was running 102 temperature, but she said, I'll sing for Gurudev. And she sang for 2 hours. It was so beautiful. And I asked Gurudev, how could she sing when she was so unwell? So he said, it was not her singing. This was I'll just say what Gurudev's words, was the divine melody that came through her.
Amma, I do recollect some nice statement of Pujya Guruji. On similar note, he said once, Swara to Ishvara.
Yes.
So, this music can take you to that divine height where you can really feel the presence of the Lord.
Gurudev asked me this was the platinum year, 75th birthday of Gurudev in Delhi. So we were all very blessed. Gurudev asked me, and it was also the 24th National Gita Gyan Yajna. It was Gurudev would combine our Bhakti Sandhyas with his Gyan Yajna the last day to have that, many times. So this was like that. And so the Tulabhar was there. A few devotees in Delhi told me, nobody understands Tulabhar in Delhi. It's all right in the south. So I said, no, Gurudev has written, so we will have. And the very first person I asked to be Yajaman was my husband. He wrote a check here straight away. And then whoever I asked, they went out of their way to participate. So it was more than what we wanted. And so we made a beautiful Tulabhar for Gurudev. So that was there. And then Gurudev invited himself, the greatest Bhakti Sangeet people, Purushottam Jalota and Anup Jalota. So in the concert, they sang steeped in devotion. They were singing. Gurudev rose up suddenly, went to the Purushottomananda, took out his Rudraksh Mala and put it on him. It was a very charged moment.
Yeah, so Gurudev gave a Rudraksh Mala to Purushottam Jalota ji.
Yes. And this was a very charged moment, both for the audience and the artist. And So then Gurudev wrote for this thing, he wrote the entire session after we went back. The entire session galloped peacefully, gracefully through enchanting programs of Bhajan Sandhya, Homa, Tulabhar, Archana, Smashti Bhiksha. This camp became a week-long celebration.
What a great message. You know, always you received blessings like this, messages as a blessings. Amma, so many devotees used to write letters to Pujya Gurudev for spiritual guidance. So, can you tell us some your experiences that through letters you got the spiritual guidance from Pujya Gurudev?
Gurudev's sacred letters came from 1986 to 1993. It was a constant flow of supreme joy and inspiration and as sweet melody of Krishna's flute. Now there were two kinds of things that he said. One was for the projects that we were doing, he would send directions, detailed directions. And I had started Bal Vihar after meeting, after very first meeting. Gurudev came home, I started Bal Vihar. So he would always send for Bal Vihar how to do it and how to imbibe those values, noble values and culture of India. Then there were very profound messages. One was to how to reach yourself. So he said, on the occasion of Holi, Gurudev wrote, I'm not coloring you. I want you to be the colorless upon which we see all colors superimposed.
Amma, this is the best and explaining how the self of every one of us is a substratum of the whole universe.
So like, and he said in other verses like this, how we merge in him with bhakti and devotion. So he wrote, your deep and sincere devotion and search for him will be as rewarding as it was for Radha.
Amma, I can share my experience. As I came to Delhi, and हिंदी में कहते हैं जैसा संग वैसा रंग. So आपके association से means when I started knowing you more and we started meeting in different occasions, definitely Pujya Gurudev's vision as well as my connection to Pujya Gurudev became more strong and more vibrant. That's what I can share with you.
See how Gurudev's grace and blessings he gives to all of us. It's a really Guru Kripa Mahan.
Amma, so your association with Pujya Gurudev was, I think, 7 to 8 years, and very strong association. So what was that magical or miraculous effect of these 7-8 years in your life?
Once I was with Gurudev in Calicut, and before leaving, I did pranams at his lotus feet, and I put chandan on his feet, and I put a jasmine mala on him. So he said, you will have darshan just like this. We had to go to Guruvayur on the way.
So in Kerala, Guruvayur is a very famous temple. You're talking about that.
So he said, you will have darshan just like this at Guruvayur. So there was another devotee, Rajan. We travelled, and it was a Vishu day, so there was miles and miles of people in to
take the darshan.
yeah, to take the darshan. So Rajan said, you can't have it because your flight is in an hour's time. So I said, but Gurudev said we'll have darshan. So there was a manager standing with gold and white, how they dress up for these occasions. So I went up to him and I said, I've come from Swami Chinmayananda's Gyan Yagya Kalikat. I'll be very grateful. My flight is in an hour's time. We'll be very grateful if you can let us have darshan. So he said, you've come from Swami Chinmayananda. Come, you will have darshan. He took us to inner sanctum sanctorium, and the wonder was our Guruvayur Appan was only in Chandan and just one white jasmine mala. So I saw Gurudev in Guruvayur.
Amma, you just said it. In scriptures, also it is beautifully mentioned that when Bhagavan thinks something, it just comes to us through the grace and blessings of Guru, means our Guru. So I can just see that miracle happening for you through the blessings and grace of our Pujya Gurudev.
Yes, all his grace and blessings. Now another thing with Gurudev, this Chinmaya Center of World Understanding, Gurudev was staying at our home, and we called the architect, Swami Jyotirmananda was the Swami in charge of this.
Just a moment. For a minute, I will just interrupt you. You know, I have heard that Swamini Amma and Swami Jyotirmayananda did so much and put complete effort to bring this CCWU of Delhi in a beautiful way. And as today, it's a glorious one of the ashram of Chinmaya Mission.
Yeah, he was a great devotee of Gurudev. So everything came just like that, you know. That is here how it came. Now, so this plan Gurudev saw, we called the K.T. Ravindran the architect. So he said, no, this looks like an office building of America. Put some Indian art in it. So he said some symbolic. So then K.T. Ravindran put the symbolic arch that you see over here. So anyway, that plan was approved. And then later, our L&T, Larsen & Toubro, the great construction company, they gave the budget. It was 2 crores for the civil work. So I was with Gurudev, and so he said, look, this is the budget that's come, 2 crores, where will it come from? So I said, Gurudev, if you say yes, it will come. Gurudev smiled, gave me the papers, give all these to Swami Jyotirmananda. And lo and behold, on my way back in the flight, the next person who was sitting next to me was a great industrialist. His wife was a great devotee. So I just asked him, because I never dealt in finances and money. So I asked him, how do we raise funds? If for this building we have to raise funds, is it through the bank or how do we do it? He said, how much do you want? I said, we want 2 crores. He said, you start, I will give that 2 crores. So
amazing.
Yes, a miracle, you know. So I came and told Swami Jyotirmananda ji. We straight away got the architect and the construction people, and we started this.
And today we can see this glorious building of Chinmaya Mission.
See how Gurudev's all came from Guru. He does everything, all his will happens. Then another was a very nice one. I had Gurudev's very beautiful portrait in my temple room, and that was very close to me in my meditation. So one devotee was doing Paduka Puja, and she said to lend it to her. So I lent it to her. I saw her so deep in devotion to Gurudev with that photograph. So I said, you keep it, I'll take another one from Anjali. So next, Anjali had a photographic exhibition in Sidbari. So I went in a hall. I went all around. I could not see that photograph that I wanted. So I came back to my room in Sidbari, and very sad that I could not get that. 10 o'clock, a brahmachari comes, knocks my door and brings the photo I wanted. I went to Gurudev early morning, the next morning, and I told him. So Gurudev again smiled. He got up, went to his room, got a pen and wrote on it, Guru is in your heart.
Amma, and that we all feel for you, that Pujya Gurudev is completely present in your heart and your every breath is just for him.
So he is, Swamiji. He's there.
Amma, I have now very specific and I think a nice question for you. Like, you shifted from Grihastha ashram and the name was so divine, Sita Amma. And now from Grihastha, you entered the Sannyasa ashram. And now your name is Swamini Gurupriyananda ji. Amma, can you please throw some light that how this shift happened and what is your experience of this sannyasa?
I was with Gurudev in Sidbari, and there was, this great glory of the Himalayas. I told him, it's so beautiful, Gurudev, the Himalayas and the serene air and thy holy presence. I wish one could always be here. Gurudev looked at me and said, not yet.
So I can think it was an indication for you. Wait.
Yes, maybe Gurudev knew that one day he will give me sannyas. No? Now, of all the verses in Bhagavad Gita, there's on sannyas. And this verse, I will read it out. Renounce all actions in him with a mind soaked with devotion to the Lord. In the song of truth, the heart begins to throb to the highest divine impulses. Actions performed in the outer world are no more ordinary actions, but they become expressions of the Supreme Will. Reading this passage became my ideal. I loved it, and I said, what a beautiful way to live. And then Param Puja Gurudev took Mahasamadhi, Punya Mahasamadhi in 1990, 3rd August. On
3rd August
yes,
of
3rd August 1993. And my husband, Brigadier Sanyamveer Singh, also had a saintly heart and revered and loved Gurudev, attained Samadhi a few months later. Life thereafter became immersed in Gurudev. His work, his vision, his mission, there was no sense of time. This body became his instrument in his hands. His plans were fulfilled. Gurudev gave me sannyas in white, but with the blessings of Swami Brahmananda ji and our beloved Swami Tejomayananda ji, Guruji, gave me sannyas diksha on Gurudev's Mahasamadhi day, 3rd of August.
Amma, just wait. Today is a 3rd August and a Mahasamadhi day. And that's your sannyasa day. Pranam to you, Guru Amma.
All I love. And this was in Bombay in Gurudev's kutia, and I took the saffron clothes in his room, Gurudev's personal room. So it was like Gurudev himself was giving me the clothes. So that was, and well, sannyas, I find, is that question how it is said. Well, I think it's the most beautiful way of living. Sannyas, it's not means that you give up and stay in a room like Gurudev said. You love all, be with all, and serve all.
Amma, thank you so much for sharing your very, very loving memories and the journey which started with the first Pujya Gurudev's Gita Gyan Yagya, and then till today how you progressed in this spiritual path, and you are with all of us serving Pujya Gurudev tirelessly, and complete model, a role model for all of us. Thank you very much.
All His grace, all His glory, and thy divine blessings. Thank you, Swamiji.
We'll again take Pujya Gurudev's name and conclude today's program. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva. Tvameva Bandhushcha Sakha Tvameva. Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva. Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva.